What up, folks? Welcome back to my channel. The new season of Squid Game is out if you haven't been living under a rock. And no, relax. This isn't suddenly becoming a pop culture review channel. No, I just wanted to talk about a certain something in the new season of Squid Game. One of the new characters that have been introduced in Squid Game is, interestingly, a cult leader. She isn't a leader at the beginning, but she slowly becomes one and she shows signs of being exactly that right in the beginning. Now, this person's name, no, I can't remember Korean names for the life of me, so I'm not gonna attempt it. We're just gonna call this person the woman. And she's very relevant to the type of person that I talk about on this channel. And I think it adds a lot of value in me talking about her. Now, there will be no major spoilers of Squid Game in this video. So those of you that are yet to watch the second season can watch it without having it completely ruined. But there will be minor spoilers in this video, mainly because we're gonna talk about a particular character. Now, if you don't want to hear that either, then you should probably skip this video. And with that said, my name's Pranav. You're watching Science is Dope. Let's begin. Now, I'm assuming everyone watching this video knows the basic storyline of Squid Game. The people are trapped in a location and they have to play a bunch of kids' games to come out the other end alive and win a bunch of money. But the catch is, of course, the outcomes of the games are life and death. In the middle of all this, we have all these complex character interactions that make the show really interesting. Now, let's get to one of these characters, the woman in season 2, who appears to be a cult leader with these ideas of a special power that will save her and her group if she pleases said power by worshipping it or praying to it or whatever. Sounds a lot like religious people today, right? Now, if she isn't a cult leader at the beginning of the show, she does get a following later on in the show. Now, it's nothing close to anywhere near huge numbers, and also in the limited confines of the show, where all of this has to happen in this limited area with a limited number of people. I think what she does in amassing a following is very similar to what we see in the real world with some people. Now, I'll get to that in a second, but you can see in the show that this reliance on this external power, or laying all the confidence or all of their trust, of her trust, that this supernatural power will save her, will help her in times of need, having laid all that confidence and trust somewhere external, leaves her to be completely carefree. And that carefree nature results in a certain confidence that you can see in her smile, her creepy smile, and her way of talking. Now, the show portrays her as being delusional, and the show also makes it very obvious. Now, this may be for the purpose of dramatization and for making it something that the audience can easily digest, sort of. But they've done an extremely good job of reflecting a phenomenon that we get to see in the real world, happening in the real world, with godmen, with priests, with every single religion, how there are certain leaders who have very similar ideas and amass a certain following, and their ideas get people drawn to them, to whatever they say, and they tend to believe whatever they say. Now, I'll talk about what this ends up resulting in a second, but I can already see that some people here are taking offense to what I'm saying, because hey, my favorite god man would never do such a thing. In fact, he isn't even a god man, he's a spiritual guru to me. Same thing, bro.
This word God man is a media invented word. There is nobody anywhere I have seen who claimed I am a God man. I have seen men and I have seen goddamn men. I have not seen a God man anywhere.
I don't know how long it is gonna take you to realize this, but all of these phenomena are the exact same thing. Now, when you worship something, when you have blind faith in something, especially when that certain something is something you have no evidence of its existence, even, then it's all the same thing, bro. Now, let's come back to the character and her confidence. I spoke about how having this complete lack of responsibility for herself or for her safety or for her own actions, everything that happens according to her is a result of fate determined by this ultimate power. And so, nothing she does can change anything. All she can do is please this ultimate power by worshipping it, praying to it, whatever. And you can see exactly that happening throughout the show. Now, all this is fine and dandy. In fact, even in the real world, this ultimate reliance on this supernatural power is fine and dandy until you actually need that help. You actually could use the help of something that can produce a divine miracle of sorts. When push comes to shove and your belief is actually tested, that is when you will have to face the reality of things. Now, in the show, there's a scene where the lady is unable to perform a task, and because of that, she completely gives up hope and she says, oh, we have all been destined to die, and there's nothing we can do about it. And she completely gives up. There's this moment, you know why? Because that thing she has a confidence upon, she realizes it's not going to help her. And all of that in that moment is completely broken by this other character who slaps her back to reality. And she actually does perform the task. This goes to show that the only power that you can rely upon is either yourself or I'm gonna get to that at the end of the video. But yeah, when she snaps back to reality and actually saves herself, that's when her beliefs should have gotten a reality check, but it doesn't happen. But what if she didn't survive? Think about that. She would not survive. The belief she had in her will die with her, but it will survive in the others who are not facing a life or death situation, who have not come to that point of push coming to shove. And in those people who do share those beliefs, it will survive, right? My question is at the end of the day, what's the point of all these beliefs? Like I said, there are many parallels between real world events and these kinds of characters and their beliefs. We have many religious people who believe in a higher power, who have no way of knowing if it exists or not, but they believe that it does. And this belief can just harmlessly stay with them, completely removing any need for any responsibility for their actions or their safety, even until they actually need something from this higher power, until they are in a life or death situation. Say, for example, a family member is having a medical emergency, and only a kind of divine miracle, so to speak, can save them. And no matter how much a person prays and nothing happens, well, they have excuses for all that. But having your faith on an external thing that you don't know exists, and when these situations happen and it doesn't answer your call, what's the point of believing in those things anyway? The believers are just going to be left in a state like the woman, realizing that her fate is to die. It's like grabbing for support and finding nothing and realizing that all these beliefs, what was the point of all that? Now, I understand that a lot of people, atheists especially, try to act smug and try to say all these things that believers and religious individuals find it as being against them. Some of you might even find what I'm saying to be arrogant and whatever. But I want you to try and see if what I'm saying makes sense. Now, there's also another side to this. The family member in the hospital, in the emergency situation, whatever, his or her survival is a chance event. It's not something that can be influenced by any sort of higher power or anything, or at least you have absolutely no evidence of this. But in some scenarios, they do survive. In such cases, it's going to be impossible to convince the believer that this was all because of chance. They're going to attribute the survival to whatever power, whatever God they believe in. In my opinion, instead of any God or higher power that you don't even know exists, put your trust, your confidence in real people, in your family, in your friends, in your spouse, people that actually exist and you can actually trust. They're the ones who can help you in your time of need. Put your trust in them and not in some higher power that you don't even know exists. This belief that a lot of people hold can also be exploited politically, for example. You see people like Narendra Modi taking great friendship with a lot of religious godmen everywhere. I've got a lot of footage of this. You can find other politicians also doing very similar things. You know why they do this? Because all the followers, all the people are votes for them. These kinds of cult leaders are like vote banks for them. You can see it in the show. There's a very crucial literal vote in the show that gets overturned because she's following this cult leader and the cult leader asks her to vote a certain way. And that's exactly what's happening in the real world too. The leaders are going to ask their followers for a certain vote, and that vote is what people like Narendra Modi want for themselves. And yeah, if this isn't political manipulation, I don't know what is. So, this is something I want to talk about. Some things that I've given you to think about also. Yeah, some food for thought. That's what I thought I should do with this video. Um, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.